Well, Congress is back from summer recess today, and lawmakers have a number of pressing items on the agenda. CBN's Capitol Hill correspondent Michelle London tells us what's coming up.
As the fiscal year winds down, the clock is ticking on funding the government.
They either need to figure out a way to hash out another full year budget or pass a stopgap measure to just kind of punt and give them more time to work out a longer deal.
Editor and publisher of Inside Elections, Nathan Gonzales, says a deal won't likely happen without bringing a few Democratic senators on board, which could be met with opposition.
Once again, we can expect another fight about government and spending with the potential of a government shutdown if people don't come to an agreement in enough time.
House Republicans have also undertaken a number of federal investigations, ranging from the Epstein files to holding members of former President Biden's administration accountable for covering up his health and ability to govern. Gonzales says this could distract lawmakers from top legislative priorities. A few weeks from now, President Trump's executive order deploying National Guard troops to D.C. will be up to Congress to resolve.
He has 30 days, and then that power goes into Congress's hands. What happens next, or what are you expecting from that?
He's supposed to get congressional approval. Now, whether he does that or whether he just kind of pushes forward until somebody tells him that he can't, we'll see. Maybe President Trump thinks that 30 days is enough to get things cleaned up and start moving to Chicago or Baltimore.
In recent days, the president has also mentioned asking Congress for $2 billion in federal funds to beautify D.C. Money Gonzales says could be difficult to get, considering Republicans took out $1 billion of D.C.'s own revenue from the budget they passed earlier. Looking ahead to midterms, the GOP's ability to hold on to their razor-thin majority will rest on how voters feel the president is doing.
Help people get a sense that the country is headed in the right direction. If President Trump has a positive job approval rating, if people believe that the country is headed in the right direction and they feel secure, then Republicans have a chance of holding both the Senate and House.
Redistricting fights are underway that could affect that. Texas has approved a new map to elect more Republicans, while California is trying to do the same for Democrats. The president continues to press more GOP state legislatures to follow Texas's lead. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is shoring up support for other blue states to do the same. Michelle London, CBN News, Washington.
CBN News chief political analyst David Brody joins us now for more. So, David, we keep going to the brink on this government shutdown. Just seems to be a story that repeats again and again and again. Are we seriously looking at some kind of shutdown if they don't come to a deal?
Yes, Gordon. And if you look at the math, there have been 10 government shutdowns over the last 50 years since 1976. So carry the one, do all the math, and that's about, well, it's not that hard math, actually. That means it's about one government shutdown every 5 years. The last one was in 2018, 2019, in the first Trump administration. So the math isn't hard here. We're now in 2025. In a way, we're kind of overdue for a government shutdown. It's been 7 years, technically, since the last one. And so, yes, I think that's exactly where we're headed. And look, this idea that we're going to have potentially a continuing resolution, once again, it could be either a government shutdown or a continuing resolution, because there's no way Congress is going to get 12 of these appropriation bills, an actual budget passed. You know, we have been doing CRs in this country, continuing resolutions, since 1996. That was the last time 12 appropriation bills, an actual budget, was passed by Congress. That's 30 years, Gordon. But Democrats are in a pickle here. Last time Chuck Schumer tried to fight this, he basically caved. He did cave, and he got a lot of flack from his base because he caved into a continuing resolution. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think Democrats are going to stay strong on this, and Republicans clearly will. And that means I think a government shutdown is heading this way.
How soon are we looking at that? Is it going to be this month?
Yeah, I think it'll be starting October 1st when the federal fiscal year kicks in. No, I don't think there's any question about that. Look, I don't see any other way around this at this point unless Democrats cave. But the problem here, Gordon, for Democrats is that poll after poll shows that their party wants them to fight Trump more. And they're going to listen to the polls at this point, most likely. And if they do, that means the government shutdown's on its way.
Any good news on the deficit? It just seems to keep spiraling up and up and up, and our interest payments are $1 trillion a year. I mean, it's mind-boggling how big this thing has gotten. And one of the critiques of the big beautiful bill is it didn't do anything to the deficit. So what's your take on that? Are Republicans going to force through some spending cuts?
So there's two avenues here, right? You've got the congressional aspect of all of this, which is that big, beautiful bill that will, according to the Congressional Budget Office, increase the debt. But then you have the tariffs. And according to that same Congressional Budget Office, they say because of Trump's tariff policy, once again, they're nonpartisan here. They're saying it would cut the debt by about $4 trillion over a decade. Okay, so that's a minor dent, but it's a dent. Because right now the national debt's at $37 trillion. So they believe that $4 trillion will be taken off the debt in the next decade because of the tariff. So you've got the tariff avenue, you got the congressional avenue, but either way, we're in a boatload of debt and a boatload of trouble.
Isn't Trump going to need Congress's help on the tariffs? He ran into a pretty big speed bump when that got appealed to a circuit court, and it got ruled that no, he didn't have the power to do it unilaterally. So is he going to need help from Congress to get it done?
Well, I think ultimately he's going to look to the Supreme Court and hope that the Supreme Court gives him that help. Because, look, Trump has spent every day since he was like 23 years old in court, and we're seeing that time and time again. So I think it's the courts that this administration is hoping is going to bail him out in tariffs rather than Congress. He believes that they believe that they have the winning hand as to that he has the unilateral power to do that. Based on a law from 1977 that would give Trump emergency powers to enforce these tariffs. Courts so far have said, no, you don't. You're overstepping. We'll see how it plays out in the courts.
Well, if I'm on the Supreme Court, I'm hoping the Congress bails me out, that I don't have to.
Yes.
I would hope that the Congress would act, and that way I wouldn't have to rule. Let's talk about the midterms, because it's never too early to politic in America. So we've got a year between now, 14 months before the midterm elections. So we're talking about redistricting and sort of gerrymandering districts so that more of a particular party will win, and 5 seats in Texas, 5 seats in California. Which party has the advantage, and is this just going to increase the division?
Hard to say. Most likely Republicans will have the advantage because we know Texas is a done deal. We don't know if California will be a done deal because voters have to approve the new redistricting plan, if you will, come November. But even if that went through, there are other states, Republican states, that are trying to redistrict as we speak. You've got Indiana, Ohio, Florida, and in Missouri in late September, they've already have a vote scheduled to redistrict there. And yes, we've heard talk about Democrats in New York and Illinois and Maryland and other places doing the same. The problem is in New York, it's going to be harder to do this time around in 2026. So when you shuffle all of the math, it looks like Republicans will have an advantage, at least from a seat perspective. Once again, if they can close the deal, that's going to be the key. And I think the one big beautiful bill is going to be crucial to all of this, whether or not they can sell that to the American people. Normally, it's a wave election, Gordon. Normally, Democrats would have the advantage here in some sort of, in the midterms of a president's agenda. But the Democrats have so many problems right now. They're having a problem with the national vote overall. I would see Republicans have a slight edge going in.
All right, David, thanks for your insights. And it looks like you're going to be busy and very busy over the next year. It's going to be quite a tumultuous election.